Shall we start now? Just a minute, I'll be back. Okay, shall we start now then? Hello?
Yes, sir. I think we can start.
Okay. In the so far we have covered the first three topic. Basically, motivation for why we want to do Monte Carlo integration. Basically, we want to solve the integration problem, and then inverse transform method for simulation, and then acceptance rejection method. Today, I'm going to discuss the importance sampling method, and then we will stop here because next week is the midterm exam week, and Markov-Chain Monte Carlo method I want to go very slow. I don't think uh, it will be fair if I do Markov-Chain Monte Carlo in next week, next Thursday, and then ask you to write exam on that, because Markov-Chain Monte Carlo itself is a very heavy duty algorithm. So we will do Markov-Chain Monte Carlo method after mid-sem exam. So in mid-sem exam, only we will do up to importance sampling, which we will discuss today. And on Thursday, it will be just free discussion about what we are doing. So far, whatever we have done. So no new topic I will discuss on the Thursday. So anybody have any questions on acceptance rejection method? I have given a reference also. It has nice introduction to accept rejection sampling, and I think the reference do have some kind of proof, at least sketch of proof of this. Uh, you may want to look into it. Okay, we already discussed last week all these things. So today we are going to talk about the importance sampling. Uh, Importance sampling is based on an alternative formulation of large number or loss.
Sir, your screen is not shared.
Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. Hmm. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, importance sampling is based on an alternative formulation of laws of large number. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to introduce a notation for posterior density. Instead of writing everywhere p theta given y, I will just write f of theta. I'm not writing p of theta because p of theta is reserved for prior density. So whenever you see f theta, it's basically where you think of it's our posterior density. Okay. So we are interested in estimating expected value of h of theta under a particular posterior density. This is what we want to estimate, which is integration over theta, h theta, f theta. Now, what I can do, I can divide this f theta by g theta and multiply it by g theta. Now, g theta is a proper probability function. Then I can write this integration as expectation of h theta times f theta by g theta with respect to probability measure g, where f is my target density and g is called candidate density. Now, f is a probability density from which I don't know how to simulate. I want to also, I don't know how to solve this integration. This is what my target is. So what I can do, I will find a probability density function from which I know how to simulate. Suppose G is that density function. So if I now simulate from G and plug that theta, simulated thetas from G in this H, F and G and calculate this and take the average of that, that will be the approximation of this quantity. And this quantity is nothing but this quantity. So this is the nutshell idea of importance sampling. So in the importance sampling, you do first generate samples from the candidate distribution G. Suppose theta 1, theta 2, theta n are random samples from G. So you plug the thetas in f theta by g theta and h theta, take the average, call it say h bar. And laws of large number tells me that as capital M, the simulation size goes to infinity, this h bar will go to my target expected value of h theta on the probability measure f. Now,
So why is this called the alternate formulation? Isn't this the like usual formulation itself?
alternate formulation in the sense that in the previously we discussed the acceptance rejection method, right? So here I'm not rejecting anything.
No, alternate formulation of LLN is what I'm asking. So I mean, isn't this the usual formulation of LLN itself?
Okay. I think alternate formulation of the not you should not say large number, alternate formulation of the simulation that sort of
Yeah, got
in
it.
that sense. But underlying, we are taking the advantage of laws of large number
Yeah.
basically.
Yes.
So that sense. No?
Yes.
So this is like alternate formulation of the simulation technique, which basically take the advantage of LLN.
Sir,
Okay.
one more thing. Could you suggest a book for us to practice these transformations and so one distribution to another? So I am from math background and so I don't know like
So these list of transformations, if you are looking for, then
yeah, just playing with different probability distributions, maybe some algebraic functions too.
like this kind of transformations you are talking about, right?
Yeah, these transformations and the I mean sampling transformations like one distribution to
Kasselberger.
another.
Kasselberger is the book, very good book. Another book is, I think, good book will be VK Rohatgi. I don't know it is in publication anymore, but I'm pretty sure that we'll have one copy in our library. VK Rohatgi. Rohatgi's book is another good book.
So could you host a like 10-15 minute separate session for people who really
Mhm.
want to like learn statistics but are not from statistics background? So like
Okay,
what
I'll
approach
do
should
that.
people take?
Yeah. I have already receiving many such requests. I'm actually
And
planning.
also for Fisher information.
Yeah,
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 all these things like a general overview. So we'll study ourselves, but you could give us
correct,
a direction.
correct. So let's do it after midsem.
Yes, sir.
Because next week is midsem. I also have to prepare some exam questions and all. Also, I would not like you to deviate from the midsem exam. Let's finish the midsem exam, and then week after midsem we will do a let's do a
VTK
session
exam.
purely on statistics, statistical inference, classical statistical inference, like which are the basic information that you should learn.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
do that. Statistical inference. Hmm.
Also, like for the midsem, after the like initial part, little bit model questions for the
For the midsem exam,
yes, sir. Like
yeah, I
initial
told you
part,
guys that I'll send you that what is called that practice questions. I'll send you some practice questions. Yes.
yes, sir.
Tonight I'll try to do that definitely. Huh? Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Okay. So, hmm. So you have all of you have access to this.
I don't. I couldn't find the link on Moodle.
No, I shared it, right? Let me.
I'll check again.
Have you guys checked it?
Sir, this part has not been shared. This collab notebook has not been shared.
Oh, I have not shared the Bayesian
No,
Monte
sir.
Carlo. Oh,
No.
okay. I have.
Up to
Regression is there.
up
Monte
to
Carlo.
regression, you
Oh, okay. Let me share it then. Acha, I'll do that. Just a minute. Then what happened? Okay, I'll do that right away after the class. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Okay. Content sampling. Huh. So, okay, where were I? Yeah. So basically, I can write this as expected that basically I'm trying to target estimate this thing h theta f theta, that I'm writing it as a h theta integration h theta f theta by g theta times g theta. Now f theta by g theta we can write it as w of theta, right? And g is another density whose support is same as f, similar to f. Now, W is called the importance function. Since this f theta by g theta, that is called importance function. A good importance function will be large when integrand is small and small otherwise. So I'll tell you what it means. Basically, it's saying that if your f and g somewhat on the same the probability mass of f and g somewhat overlaps in the same region, then it will be a very important sampling will be very good. Okay. And so let me give an example here. If you were to go to the below, um, I have started, I have given a demo how MCMC works, but let me, suppose this is my target
Do
density.
we know F here?
Huh?
Do we know F?
You know F up to, sometimes you know full F, but you don't know how to simulate from it.
Okay.
And or you know if only up to its kernel.
Right.
That's even difficult problem. Right now in the importance sampling, what we are trying to do is we know if fully, but we don't know how to simulate from it.
Okay.
But
So
I know
what
how to
software-
simulate from G.
So if we know the density, why can't we simulate from F itself? I mean, that
Now,
is
how will you do it?
sir, some uniform transformation, wouldn't it be
But you
possible?
have to know the uniform transformation. Suppose there are,
Sometimes we don't know.
we don't know. That is where we have to come up with some
Or
trick. And this
Yeah.
importance sampling is another trick basically.
Yes, sir.
So if your target density is here and you're taking a candidate density here, then not only importance sampling, everything will fall apart.
Yes, sir.
So importance sampling, acceptance rejection sampling will not simply work. And when we will complete this module and we'll do the Markov chain Monte Carlo, even these things works. So that is a completely different kind of algorithm. We'll talk about it. But in a standard acceptance rejection, if you take your target, if this is your target density from where you want to simulate, and if this is your candidate density, whether you're using acceptance rejection or you're using, say, target, what is called that? Importance sampling, it will fail no matter what, it will fail. When it will work, if your target density is somewhere on overlapping with the, your proposal density is somewhat overlapping with the target density. That time importance sampling, acceptance sampling will work very well.
So how do we know if it is working well or not? We don't.
So so there are cases where we don't have even idea where the target density is. At that time, acceptance sampling or importance sampling most likely going to fail, and we have to resort to MCMC.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but if you have some sense where the target density is, at least the location, if you have some sense of the location, you can define a initial proposal density, maybe a simple normal or something like that in that region, and keep simulating from here in this region, and acceptance sampling, rejection sampling, or importance sampling will nicely pick up the similar values which follows as if they are coming from this density.
Yes, sir. So can't we use neural networks to find transformations from uniform to some distribution if we know the function like f?
You want to use a GAN, right?
Not a GAN. Like say
The
we have
neural
an input.
network for
Yeah, GAN will also work. Yeah.
GAN or
Autoencodes anything.
variational autoencoder. See, these are all recent phenomena. Okay, 2000, last 5-6 years. And I don't think within neural network and the Bayesian statistics community, there is much communication is yet being done. So, okay, so you can do that. I'm not saying, I mean, but we have to explore. I think only one person from Boston area, most likely MIT, has done his or her thesis on the interaction in possible interaction between GAN and the Bayesian inference. And I don't think the thesis is yet published, but thesis is available. You can do some search on Google and you will get it.
Yes, sir.
Either from Boston University or from MIT, but as far as I remember, it's from Massachusetts, Boston area. That was the address I saw. but you can definitely do a Google search. We can talk about it after the class. Okay, that is completely on a research angle.
Yes, yes. I'll just write it in the notebook.
Yeah, you can write me separately. We can discuss it separately. But that discussion in the community itself is not. I don't think is there yet.
Ah, yes, sir.
Okay, so where am I? So important sampling, this is the important sampling. All you do, first you generate samples from the candidate distribution and then you plug it in there. Yeah, and then you get it. So what is the objective of the important sampling? Objective, basically important sampling tries to solve three different problems. First problem is it reduces the variance of an integral approximation. So when you are doing an integral, you're trying to, suppose you're trying to solve this integration. It has nothing to do with probability, okay? It has nothing to do with probability. Imagine this is a problem that is from your class 12 calculus. It has nothing to do with your probability thing. Now, question is, how can you solve this problem? You decide to, okay, I will do some kind of important sampling technique or some Monte Carlo. So you can use important sampling to whatever approximation you do, you will always have some degree of Monte Carlo error or some kind of approximate error, and these error will needs to be reduced. And important sampling is a very good tool to reduce the integral approximation. So what you can do, what I have done here is basically we can simulate X from uniform 0, 10. So this is the support. And look at the sample mean of h of xi, where h of x might 10 into e to the power minus 2 times x minus 5, this thing. And if you do that, we do know that if you integrate is exact value is 1, it will be there. So if you do that, so when you're doing that, then basically you are simulating from 1 by 10, whose support is between 0 to 10. When you are simulating from uniform 0, 10, whose PDF is 1 by 10. So what I am doing here is I'm just simulating from 0 to 10 and evaluating the h of x here and taking the mean of that and variance of that. And variance is my Monte Carlo error and mean is the estimate. Estimate turns out to be 0.999, basically close to 1. And the Monte Carlo error comes out to be 3.993. I have done, and then I plotted it, and it looks like something like that.
Sir, Monte Carlo error is defined as variance.
So I'm just taking a variance of these h of
So,
x.
like that is how we defined Monte Carlo error.
I
Here
think in the assumptions in the assumptions you mentioned in the last class that this follows. We assume that this follows some distribution and the distribution variances.
Correct. I don't. That should be like, you take the mean of y and you do it many times, and then that variability will be, so is your Monte Carlo error. Here I'm just, I shouldn't say Monte Carlo error, maybe variability of estimates or something, variability around estimates, something like that I can say it.
Oh, yeah, I got.
So sample estimate.
Or sample estimates, yeah, or the variance of the estimates. Okay.
Yes.
something like that I can say. Now, what I am doing, I'm thinking of, can we use a little bit better proposal density, because it looks like something like that. If we can assume now, when I'm saying we are using a uniform 01, basically I'm using a flat PDF, right? And this flat PDF is simulating many samples from here, which has weight, whose weight will be very close to 0. So that means they are not contributing to my estimates at all. And those points are actually increasing the samples variability, estimates variability, and they will contribute to my Monte Carlo error. Okay. So what we can do, we can, instead of using uniform 010, I can use some normal distribution as my candidate density with mean at 5 and variability maybe 1 or 2. I can write it as, this is my h of x, and then this is as 1 by square root. This is my PDF of normal thing, and this is the, like, gx times gx. Okay, and this is my weight. So, and this is my candidate density. So I will simulate from candidate density. My fx still follow uniform 010, under which I will simulate the data. Under which I want to effectively estimate this h of a, this integration. My omega x turns out to be, this is the guy. Okay, is omega x. Now, when I'm doing it, my estimates turns out to be exactly 1, and the Monte Carlo variability, so instead of error, I will write it as a variance. Monte Carlo variability turns out to be 0.361. Previously, it was 3 point something, right? 3.99, more 4. That has came down to more than, 90%, almost
10 times.
yeah, 10 times reduce, or 90% reductions. So this is one of the thing. Another one application of importance of sampling is estimating a rare event. So suppose my returns follow normal 0, 1. Actually, if you take, if you take as a market index and to compute this PT, I mean simple return, this is not long return, and I'm just this is the just making a toy example that return follow normal 0, 1. We want to estimate what is the probability that return is less than -5. That is so what does it mean? Means that return will, the price of a stock or price of an index will drop more than 5% in one day. Such thing happens 1 in 100 years or something like that. As we are interested in probability of RT less than, and so it will, this probability that RT is less than -5 when RT follow normal 0, 1, it is such a small value, we will run into floating error problem. So instead of estimating probability of RT less than -5, we will estimate this probability in log scale, log of probability of RT less than -5. So what I did, I just use the built-in function of R, and in log scale, it turns out to be negative 15.06499 kind of thing. Now, if you simulate Zi from normal 0, 1, it only produces heat once in 3 million iteration. So that means if you simulate from normal 0, 1, 1 in million times, you will get a case or return which is less than -5. So almost you will never be able to estimate this probability RT less than -5 ever. So how you estimate that? So what I did is basically you simulate from normal. So I have simulated 10,000 samples. Now normal, which is, so I have taken a equal to -5. I have taken mean equal to a -5 equal to -5 and standard deviation 2. So this is my kind of simulated my proposal density. And then y is, I have taken 0, all the values are 0, and then whenever x is less than a, I have taken 1. So almost half in my y, almost half of the values will be 1 and half of the values will be 0, because x is basically from a proposal density whose mean is around -5. And then G is, I've estimated the PDF of G and then estimated the PDF of F. So in G, I have taken this is the candidate density, and F is the density evaluated at X, the target density. And then importance weight is F by G. I have taken the W times Y, take the average, take the log and print. Turns out negative 15.0732, very close to, reasonably close, I would not say reasonably close to the at least what built-in function in R is giving. So it seems like it's a very doing its job reliably. Then I tried with -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and here are the results that we are seeing here. Okay. Now the third
So
is,
how does the built-in function do it?
I really don't know how.
Maybe similar tech. Oh, I'll check online.
You can check on it. I really don't know. I just want to check whether, I mean, I mean whether we are, the importance sampling is doing a reasonably good job or not, assuming the built-in function is doing good job. Okay.
Yeah.
So the importance sampling for Bayesian inference, how we do that. Now, my f theta is p theta given y. What I know it about this density is up to k theta, the kernel of the function, and we don't know the constant. What is constant? Constant is integration k theta d theta. So we don't know the c, and we know the posterior distribution in its unnormalized form. Okay, so we know up to p theta given y proportional to py given theta p theta, which we are calling it as a k theta, as a function k theta. We want to estimate e to the expected value of h theta of the unnormalized density of f theta, which is k theta. So what can I write? We can write that as expected value of h theta as integration h theta k theta by c times d theta. Since c is a constant, it comes out. So 1 by c integration h theta k theta by g theta times g theta d theta. Now here I am introducing the candidate density from where I know how to simulate. Now my W theta is our W theta is F theta by G theta. Remember that. Now what is F theta? F theta is 1 by C K theta G theta, which is 1 by C, we can call it W tilde theta. So W tilde theta is K theta by G theta, and W theta is F theta by G theta. Okay. Now, if I can simulate theta 1, theta 2, theta n IID random sample from G, my candidate density, then what I can do, I can plug these thetas into W theta, H theta and H theta. Remember that I'm simulating from G theta. If I
More
simulate,
simply, we can say that we can take two, I mean, estimations and then take their ratio, and that will give C.
correct. So let me complete. Okay. So I'm simulating from G theta and then plug it in here, this H theta times W tilde theta. And then I'm taking the average. As n tends to infinity, this average will converge to C into e to the power H theta. Because this C is then basically, I can just write it in this way. If I write it in here, then this is the integration that I'm trying to estimate. Then what I'm doing, you can take also the average of W tilde theta I, that actually will give converge to C. Then you take the average of these two, and that will converge to e to the power H theta. Is that clear with you guys?
Sir, why does the average of W tilde theta converge to C?
Because look into the if you take H theta equal to 1, suppose, let's take H theta equal to 1 for all theta. Then expected value of basically H theta is 1 for all theta. Then expected value of 1 is 1. So the whole thing will converge to C. That is one way of thinking about it. Another way of thinking about it is, if you look at in this, okay, what is it? This is W tilde theta by C is K theta by G theta times C. So if I am taking expected value of 1 by, now I'm
So it all
simulating,
cancels out, right?
exactly. It will cancel out, because if I simulating with respect to G and plug it in here, then basically the sum will converge
We have only left F,
W.
and F is a density.
Correct. But easiest way of thinking is, if I take H theta equal to 1 for all theta.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That is the easiest way of thinking. H
Yeah.
theta equal to theta with for all theta, then expected value of H theta is 1. Then you left with basically 1 by n summation W theta I, which converts to the constant only. Then basically, if you take the ratio of these two, this and this, then 1 by n cancels, and this will converge to C of EH of theta by C. The C cancels, so it will, entire thing will converge to e to the expected value of H theta. If you look at carefully, this is nothing but weighted average. Instead of simple average, it is a weighted average. And the weights are W tilde theta. And what is W tilde theta? W tilde theta is basically K theta by G theta. That is what we know. So it doesn't involve C at all. C is unknown, normalizing constant, but completely unknown. So it does not involve C. So I can compute W tilde theta because W tilde theta is K theta by G theta. I know K theta completely. It is the kernel of this posterior. This is just K theta is P likelihood times prior. That functional form I completely know. I know everything about G theta, including how to simulate from G theta. So I know how to evaluate W tilde theta. Previously, what we were doing, we were taking a simple average. Here, all I'm doing, weighted average. That's it. Now, this is just an estimation, just to check whether the importance sampling is working well. You calculate this method V, and if you choose a bad G, your candidate density is very bad, then V will be large. And if G is small, G is good candidate, then V is good, V will be small. V less than 5 is kind of expected. So that is a sort of a measure that how good my importance sampling is doing, particularly in this case. So here I am given a example of modeling road accident. So suppose following data present the number of accidents every month for last 12 months in a particular stretch of National Highway 34. So we define Y sub I as a number of accident on ith month. So Y1 equal to 6, that means Y2 equal to 2, Y3 equal to 2. In this way, Y12 is equal to 1. So that is my data. Let us assume that these are IID random samples, follow Poisson distribution with parameter theta. Now theta is between 0 and 12, infinity, it's a rate parameter. So we assume theta follow log normal distribution with mu equal to 2 and sigma equal to 1. Just for fun, sake of fun. Why I choose that? I choose purposefully, it's a non-conjugate prior being selected. So I will not be take the help of conjugate prior and all these things. So we have to resort to some kind of Monte Carlo simulation technique to estimate the posterior mean of theta given the data. So here I have written a importance sampling function. So I've taken the data. So here is the log posterior. So this I've just taken the Poisson values, d Poisson plus, and then take the log equal to true, and they took the sum, and then dl norm and t with location equal to 2 and scale equal to 1 and log equal to true. So this is my log posterior distribution. Now the parameters for the trial distribution I have taken now C is the tuning parameter for the candidate distribution. Okay, so I have taken mean Y equal to A and B, and then here's the trial density. So trial density I have taken gamma, and here I have taken an importance function which is posterior by because posterior is my, remember that I know up to the normalizing constant. So this is up to the normalizing constant. We don't know what is the thing. So this is so my W theta, but I've taken it in a log transformation, will be log posterior minus log G, which is a D gamma. Then we simulate from gamma distribution. You simulated from gamma distribution. We have taken a gamma distribution as a trial candidate density. And then we have taken log of W values. What is log of W value is the importance functions in log scale. So I've taken the maximum of so basically there is a possibility of numerical underflow. So I have taken the W of maximum of LP and subtracted it so that you don't face that problem. And then U to the power LP times U minus this. Basically, this is weight times U divided by weight, and then take the mean. This is what I'm trying to estimate here. Okay. So I is my target density, target estimates. Then we calculated V using the same thing, the basically variability. And this is a standard error. And some 95% confidence interval variability, and I, the final estimates I have simulated. And then what I have done for different choices of candidate densities A and B, I have taken 0.05 to 20, 500 small values. And for all those choices, I have calculated the importance sampling estimates, and for which the variability is minimum, Monte Carlo variability is minimum. I am reporting that. So Monte Carlo variability done, and then for which the Monte Carlo variability is minimum, the theta turns out to be, estimated theta turns out to be 2.737. So that is what it is. Okay. So this is anybody have any questions? So that's all about the importance sampling.
So how do we interpret the variability in these predictions?
Here, variability in a sense, Monte Carlo error, basically, some sense. So I'm trying to minimize the Monte Carlo error here in that.
Yeah, but like for a distribution, we know how to interpret variance. But for this prediction, how do we interpret the variability?
Can you repeat your question?
For example, for a distribution, we know what variance is like. So we know the formula for it. We know how sample variance is calculated and how it relates to a presumed distribution. But what about this variability? I mean, so we predict a value, and this variability is for what? As in, I understand the lesser it is, the better the. But nothing else is understood by me.
So,
like we have a
you understood up to this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I understand getting the values part. The only problem was like
No,
how
hold
do I
on.
understand the variability?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You understood this part. Up to this part, you find.
Yeah.
Correct. So the entire thing entire estimation is depending on how good my weight estimations are. This is my weight estimations. Basically, this is my
Yeah.
weight prop. I can replace this by say some W bar. Okay. And then W tilde by W bar is my normalized weight. Some kind of normalized weight. Here, that is, if you look into it, this what is by W bar? W bar is 1 by n summation
W tilde theta.
So W bar is the average of the W tilde i's.
Yeah.
Now what I am doing, W tilde I minus W bar divided by W bar, that
Yeah.
how much it is deviating from the W bar. Basically that is what it is calculating.
Right. Right.
With respect to average W bar.
So yeah. So this is for the sampled thing. So how? So what distribution is it connected to? As in.
I don't care. In this case, it is, I'm just trying to deviate. There must be some kind of distribution.
Right. 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 Okay.
The
Right.
error itself might have some kind of distribution.
No, not the error distribution, but like
Not error, what I'm saying, this deviation, this W tilde I deviation must have some its own distribution.
yeah.
But what I am trying to say is this W tilde I minus W bar is telling me that how much it is deviating from the average W bar.
Right. Right. Right.
Right. If it is too much, then my Monte Carlo variance will be high variability.
Right.
If it is smaller, then that means it is converging fast.
Right. Right. I understood.
Okay. So that's how this V is not Monte Carlo error, but rather than an indication of how much Monte
An
Carlo
indication of the Monte Carlo error.
variability.
Right. Right.
And if the variability is less, then total Monte Carlo error will also be less. So that is the idea. It's like sigma square by, in sampling distribution follow normal, like x bar sampling distribution of sample mean follow normal mu sigma square by n.
Yeah.
Right now sigma square by n is the standard error of x bar. Now if sigma square itself is small, then standard error will be small.
Right.
Here the same idea. If the overall Monte Carlo variability is small, then Monte Carlo error will also small.
Yeah. I understood. It's like an estimate for the Monte Carlo.
Color,
I was asking what theoretical part is it connecting to?
So this is similar to that of laws of large number, basically laws of large number and sampling distribution of variability of total variability is if it is less, then overall Monte Carlo error will be small.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Like that, if the overall distribution, the error variability of the distribution is small, then standard error will automatically small.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that's the same underpinning is happening here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we will move on to Markov chain, which will be after the lecture, after this, after the mid-sem exam.
Sir, I am a little slow in understanding the code. I will go through afterwards, and if I have questions, I'll get back to you.
Sure. So the code is not direct implementation of what we just discussed because of this underflow error we were getting. So I had to take log transformations of the weights, and then I'm doing this e to the power to get the important sampling back. So that is the something that you keep in your mind. Okay. But pretty much same whatever we did in the here, this idea. basically in the code, my target is to estimate this. Okay, that is what I'm trying to do here. But because W tilde estimation, I was facing problem, and so I took the log here. And in the candidate density, I have taken gamma. Gamma will have two parameters, A and B. What I did, I don't want to tune both A and B. So what I did, I said, okay, I will take one parameter which will tune both the A and B, which is C. And then C times mean Y equal to is I chose as A and B equal to C. Why is so? Because A by B is the mean of the gamma, and that will make C mean of the gamma density. So it will make the C times mean of Y divided by C. So my candidate density will be always hover around mean of Y. So that was my that is the trick that I have used here. And then I have defined A and B of gamma here, and then I have plugged in here in the D gamma. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Sir, without log transformation, do we run into computational problems?
Yeah, that is why I'm doing this log transformations. Why? Because D gamma, where the density will be very close to 0, the value will be very close to 0.
Yeah, there will be some underflow or some.
Underflow. In order to avoid the underflow, I took the log transformation
Yes,
to
sir.
avoid the underflow.
Understood, sir.
And that is why instead of division, I've taken a subtraction, because log of posterior minus log of term. Basically, that is what we are doing in the weight function. So
Yes, sir.
instead of weight function, we are working with log of importance function. And then I'm simulating from the candidate density, plug it in the importance function, got the LPs. Now, in order to avoid the underflow, what I did, I just basically I want to subtract a value, so a constant. So I subtracted this. So this was the little bit of ad hoc uh, handling that we did, and then the same thing. So this is it. Then I just took a e to the power corrections and e to the power this. That's it. Okay, you go through the code, and if you have a problem, or what I will do, I will assign another problem. Okay, and try to implement this importance sampling for that problem. And so maybe I will create a Google notebook and for assignments or practice problems and try to solve that. Then you will get a more clear idea about how to solve this problem. This importance sampling thing. Okay.
Just one question in terms of the R syntax.
Mhm.
Function T space D gamma or log posterior. What is happening between those two? I mean,
So basically it's a function, like in R you define the definition, right?
yes, sir.
So that is the thing, in this case, it is, since it is a, technically I should write it in this way. But if a function has only one line, I can write it in this way also.
Oh, I see. I see.
That's a very R specific behavior.
Okay.
Anything else? If not, then I will stop here. And I will upload all the